Hey guys, hope you guys are fine at your end, and thanks a lot for the support extended. So today I'm here to talk about a very different topic. Normally I speak about awakening, spiritual awakening, or maybe consciousness and those things. But today I'm here to talk about men are the biggest victims in divorce. Men are the biggest victims in divorce. The untold, you can say, truth in India, and a deep conversation which we can do today. The silent pain of men after divorce, a reality India must face. Divorce in India, the hidden struggles of men nobody talks about. You can say marriage, divorce, and social media. Why men are suffering silently? These are my perceptions, huh? Because the way I did research, I found that men are the biggest victims in divorce. I'm not here. I'm not here against women, but still, divorce in India was once rare, if you ask me. But today it is becoming increasingly common. While society often discusses women's struggles, there is another side that is rarely spoken about: the silent pain experience silent experience which the silent pain men experience after divorce. In this powerful discussion, we explore the history in India from 1960s to today, the impact of social media on relationship, and the emotional, financial, and social challenges many men face after separation. This talk does not blame women. I'm not here to blame women. Instead, it calls for balance, empathy, and understanding for both men and women, because broken marriages affect everyone: families, children, and society. So, let us start. Men are the biggest victims in divorce. Ladies and gentlemen, today I want to speak about something that society rarely discusses openly. A topic that exists in silence, a topic that many men experience but few speak about. Men are the biggest victims in divorce. Now, before we go deeper, let me make something very clear. This is not a speech against women. This is not a speech against women. Women also suffer in marriages. Women also face emotional pain. But today, we are discussing a side that is often ignored. A side which is often ignored: the silent pain of men. Let me ask you something. When a marriage breaks, who do we usually sympathize first? It's an open question. When a marriage breaks, who do we usually sympathize first? The woman. And in many cases, you can say rightly so. But here is the question, yeah, you can say society rarely asks what happens to the man. Society very rarely asks what happens to the man. Who listens to his pain, who asks about his loneliness, who checks whether he is emotionally broken most of the time. No one, my friends. No one. Divorce in India, you can say then versus now. Let us differentiate it. Then versus now. Let us go back in the time in 1960s and 1970s in India. Divorce was extremely rare. Not because marriages were always perfect, but because society believed in endurance. Society very believed in endurance. Families believed marriage was sacred. Couples adjusted. Grandparents adjusted. Parents adjusted. Sometimes too much. But marriages lasted. Then we can come down to around 1980s and 1990s. India began to change. Urbanization, education, women entering the workforce, independence increased, individual freedom increased, and slowly divorce started appearing more frequently. But even then, it was still very uncommon. It was still very uncommon. Now look at today's generation. Divorce is not no longer shocking. It has almost become a normal. It has almost become a normal. Young couples sometimes separate within 1 or 2 years. of marriage. And the question we must ask ourselves is, what changed so dramatically? The social media era? One major factor is something we all carry in our hands, the smartphone. Think about this. Earlier, couples compared their lives with maybe two or three neighbors. Earlier, couples compared their lives with maybe two or more, two or three neighbors. Now, they compare their lives with millions of people on social media. Instagram marriages, Facebook happiness, perfect couples online, perfect gifts, perfect romance. Now, let me ask you something honestly. Is any marriage perfect? Of course not. Every marriage has arguments. Every marriage has disagreements. Every marriage has difficult days. But social media creates unrealistic expectations. And when the expectations become unrealistic, disappointment grows, my friends. And when disappointment grows, relationship breaks faster. The silent suffering of men. Now, let us come to the heart of today's discussion, the silent suffering of men. When divorce happens, a man often loses three major things at once. When a divorce happens, a man often loses three major things at once: his partner, his children, and his home. Imagine this scenario: a father who used to wake up every morning seeing his children suddenly sees them only once a week or once a month. Can you imagine that pain? Many men cannot, you can say, express it. Many men cannot express it because society has taught men one dangerous sentence: men should not cry. Because society has taught men one dangerous sentence: men should not cry. So, what they do? What do they do? They remain silent. But silence does not mean strength. Sometimes silence means deep suffering, financial burden. Another reality man, you can say many men face is financial pressure. After divorce, many men must pay. Very professional language we say as alimony, child support, legal fees, court expenses, and sometimes they start their life again from zero. But society rarely discusses this because the world assumes men are stronger, men will manage. But let me ask you, are men not human? Are men not human? Do men not feel loneliness? Do men do not feel emotional loss? Of course they do, my friends. Mental health crisis among men, this is something very serious and we must talk about it openly. Statistics across many countries show something alarming. Many men experience, you can say, higher suicide rates after divorce compared to women. Why? Because men often do not seek emotional support. Women usually have strong emotional networks, friends, family, support groups. Men, there's a question mark. Many men have no one to talk to, so their pain becomes internal. And internal pain is dangerous. The children factor. Let us talk about something even more important: children. When a divorce happens, the biggest victims are often the children. But fathers also lose something extremely precious, that is daily fatherhood. A father cannot attend school meetings. A father cannot help with homework. A father who cannot say good night every night. A father who cannot attend the school meetings. A father who cannot help with homework. A father who cannot say good night every night. This creates a deep emotional vacuum, and many fathers carry the pain silently for years. But let us be fair. Now, let us pause here because balance is important. women also suffers in marriages. Some women face abuse, some women face neglect, some women face emotional trauma. So let us be very clear. This discussion is not about blaming women. It is about recognizing men's struggles as well. Because true equality means acknowledging both sides. Advice for the younger generation. Let me speak directly to the younger generation now. Marriage is not a movie, my friends. Marriage is not a movie. Marriage, it is not an Instagram. It is not a romantic fantasy. Marriage is responsibility. Patience, sacrifice, understanding. If you enter marriage expecting perfection, you will always be disappointed. You will always be disappointed. Instead, enter marriage with maturity. Advice for men now. To the men listening today, I want to say something important, my friends. If you are going through divorce, please do not suffer in silence. Talk to someone, a friend, a counselor, a family member. Seeking help is not weakness, it is strength. And remember something, your identity is not defined by one broken relationship. This line is very important. Your identity is not defined by one broken relationship. Your life has purpose. And advice for women, to the woman listening today, you also play an important role in healing society. Even when marriage fails, respect the humanity of the man you once loved, especially when children are involved, because children need both parents emotionally, not just legally. The real solution, the real solution is not choosing sides. The real solution is understanding. Marriage needs empathy, divorce needs dignity, my friends. And society needs one side, but if we support both, we create healing, my friends. If we support both, we create healing. Now, my closing reflection. Let me leave you guys with a question like, when you hear about a divorce, don't ask who won, because nobody wins here. Instead, ask, how can we reduce this pain? If we begin asking that question, society will slowly become more compassionate. Society will become more compassionate. How can we reduce this pain? If you begin asking this question, that question, society will slowly become more compassionate. Now, my closing quote, I can give a small quote. Strength is not the absence of pain. Strength is not the absence of pain, my friends. Strength is not the absence of pain. Strength is courage to continue even after life breaks our heart. Strength is not the absence of pain. Strength is the courage to continue even after life breaks your heart. And remember this, behind many silent men, there are the stories the world never heard. Behind many silent men, there are stories the world never heard. And remember my quote, it is very, very clear to the men and women. Strength is not the absence of pain. Strength is the courage to continue even after life breaks your heart. Thank you very much. Bye bye. See you. Take care.